Good morning,
Hi.
Africa, wherever you are watching us from. My name is Onwuka M, and I want to especially welcome you to today's conversation. On today's conversation, we're building healthy conversations that could spark up your day. And today, I have my friend and my sister, all the way from Trinidad and Tobago, join us. Welcome to the show, Crystal Cummings.
Hi and welcome. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for all you do as well, and for honoring my invitation to come to Nigeria in 2019 to be a part of what we're doing in Nigeria. But I'd like you to first introduce yourself by yourself, like you usually say, pitch, so that the people will be able to know you personally.
Okay, awesome. So my name is Crystal Cummings. I am from Trinidad and Tobago. I was born and raised there. I came to Lagos a little over a year ago, or almost 2 years, I think, by now.
Yes, 2 years.
And it was initially supposed to be a vacation, right? But I'm the person. I'm always business minded. I'm always thinking of networking and meeting different people and stuff like that. So when I came here, I went on Eventbrite and was looking for activities or events that was happening around, the Lagos area. And that's how I came across Matthew. And it's such an honor and a privilege to have met him. And, we communicated and he invited me to be his African Youth and Talent Summit, and it was such an amazing experience, and I'm very grateful for that. Yeah, so since I've been here, I've been, networking, meeting different people, communicating, and setting up my business and trying to do things that I did back home, to bring that over here in Lagos, Nigeria. So that's what I've been doing. And, well, COVID happened last year. So, last year kind of like was like a missing link, like nothing happened last year, so we're now just picking back up the pace from what we would have started from the previous year.
Amazing, amazing. So, what do you do back home in Trinidad and Tobago? What's your background like? What are those? What's your professional life? What do you do for a living over there?
Okay, so I am a business consultant. I'm also a corporate trainer. So basically, my company back home, what we did is train businesses. They would hire us to train their employees based on the specific need of the company, whether it's customer service, whether it's team building, leadership, whatever the needs are. We did training. So my area of expertise is customer service. And based on whatever the company needs, if it's not customer service, then I would hire trainers who would be professional in those different areas. So that's basically what I did back home. And I also, worked with different NGOs. We did like business networking where we would bring different entrepreneurs together and basically help entrepreneurs to build their brand, build their business, and also gain access to the different opportunities that are available to them that they may not have previously known about. So there are a lot of opportunities that are available for small businesses, entrepreneurs, and people in the tech field, but a lot of them are not knowledgeable of the different opportunities that are available to them. So what I did with my other colleagues and the different businesses that I partnered with was bring those build bridge that gap between what's available and bring it to the SMEs and entrepreneurs.
Amazing, amazing things you're doing. I was coming to Nigeria in 2019, the first dead Africa. Was coming to
Sorry, I
Nigeria.
didn't hear that question. Can you?
Okay. Was coming to Nigeria in 2019 the first time you visited Africa? Was it the first time you were going to visit Africa?
Yes, it was my very first time, and I'm going to be honest, I was nervous,
Okay.
but I'm so happy that I took that leap of faith and came because I love it. Like I can't believe I've never been to Africa before, and I think that everyone should at least take a trip to Africa, at least if you're from the diaspora, you know, me coming from the Caribbean, we were there because, you know, our ancestors were slaves. They were taken from Africa during the slave trade and brought to the Caribbean. So that's how we ended up in the Caribbean. But technically, if I trace my roots back, you know, I'm African.
Amazing. And I realized you have an Igbo name right now, right? So what's the Igbo name? You have a local name.
So I was given an Igbo name, which is Chinye. Chinye.
Chinyere. Say that again, please.
Yes.
Okay.
Chinye.
Chinye. What's the meaning?
Yes, Chinye. It means gift from God.
Gift from God. Amazing. So you believe you're an African and your native name is Chinwe, right? Chinne. Gift
Yes.
from God. All right.
Yes.
I noticed you also visited Ghana recently. What was that about for?
Okay, so initially my visit to Ghana, once again, was supposed to be vacation. It was my first time visiting Ghana. And I fell in love with Ghana. It was really such an amazing experience, all the opportunities and the people. Funny enough, being in Ghana, it kind of reminded me of the culture back home in my country. The people and the culture is very similar, like even the foods and stuff like that, it's very similar to back home in Trinidad and Tobago. So it kind of made me to think that maybe the people from Trinidad and Tobago might have been originated from Ghana because of how similar the people and the culture is. It was really mind-blowing when I realized how I felt like I was actually in the Caribbean, not actually in Africa. But it was an
Amazing.
amazing experience. And also again, I always try to network anywhere I go. I try to network, and I end up meeting a lovely friend that I had connected with on Clubhouse. So for those of you who knew me from Clubhouse, you know, I used to host rooms on Clubhouse, and I met this lovely lady named Ajua, and she hosts like a networking event every month called Aqua Connect. And you know, she invited me to come to the event. It was an amazing experience. I met lots of amazing people. I was able to, you know, connect with them and even, you know, build some business connections with them. And for her second event, which was in August, she invited me to help her co-host the event. And you know, that was such an amazing opportunity again, you know. So it was really nice. I had so much fun in Ghana, and yeah, it was an amazing experience.
Amazing. So what's your perception before coming to Africa and your perception now about Africa? Haven't lived in Africa for a
Okay.
couple of months now. What is your perception about Africa?
Okay, so I'm going to be absolutely honest. If you're coming from the West, whether it's the Caribbean, Latin America, the US, or even the UK, your perception of Africa is what you see on mainstream media or the news. And you know, that perception can be very it paints a negative picture. So you think, oh, Africa is just this poor, underprivileged place, you know, people live in dirt huts, there's no electricity, there's no running water, and that's what you see. That's all you see. So you think, why would I want to come to Africa? Why would I want to come to Nigeria? All I hear about is Boko Haram and they kill people there, and it's like they make it seem very scary. And I'm going to be honest, I fell victim to that lie that was being portrayed of Africa. And it was a close friend of mine, well, actually, it's a family member of mine that she travels back and forth a lot to Africa. And she was like, you need to come to Nigeria. And I was like, why would I want to come to Nigeria? Like, and she's like, listen, it's nothing like what you see on TV. You have to come and experience it for yourself. And I'm very glad that I came, you know, because it opened my eyes and I realized, wow, more people need to showcase this. Like, people don't realize how wealthy, you know, Africa or even Nigeria or even Ghana is. Like, people here are living way better than some people in the US and even in the UK. And you don't get to see that if you're just looking at mainstream media. But one thing I'm happy about is that social media now allows us now to now showcase what we're seeing here in Africa, and paint a better picture than what the media has been portraying Africa to be. So I've been encouraging people, you need to come to Africa, even in our rooms and Clubhouse. I mean, you're familiar with Clubhouse. We need to do a room together, please. Schedule
Yes.
that in, that we can do a Clubhouse room together.
Okay, that'll be exciting.
Even being on Clubhouse, a lot of people from the diaspora, are gaining insight and knowledge on the opportunities that are here, and a lot of them are willing to come back to Africa and invest and start businesses and do business with people here in Africa. And I'm really happy that social media is opening that door that people would not have otherwise known.
Thank you so much for all you do for Africa. Well, I see your passion for Africa is very strong. It's not easy, or it's not regular for someone to just leave the nation of their nationality, and then just come over to Africa and say, I want to reside in Africa. I want to live in Nigeria. I want to live in Ghana. I want to live in any other African country. What is the motive behind? Why this drive? Why is this passion about Africa?
To be honest, in my heart, I feel like this is where I need to be. Like, I feel like I belong here. And I also feel like, the way the system is set up in the West, it's like there's limited to what you can actually do or achieve. But when I come here and I saw all the different opportunities, especially like in business, even in investment and stuff like that, I'm like, do I want to go back and just work a 9 to 5, or just live within the constraint of what society place on you? Or do I want to come to Africa and become part of the new revolution that's happening? Because Africa is now becoming more and more the wealthiest continent in the world. And there's lots of opportunities here. That's a lot of untapped resources, a lot of especially like even in the field of like renewable energy and climate change and all these different things. There's lots of opportunities in those sectors here in Africa. And I feel like, I'm seeing so many people coming here and taking advantage of those things. And I feel like more people need to know about it and should come and at least, especially people from the diaspora, they should at least see what's available and how they can help bring Africa to that first world status, because Africa is already on the trajectory to becoming one of the wealthiest continents that people are actually trying to migrate to. Because being exposed to like Clubhouse and being in rooms with people talking about Africa and the diaspora, I realized that a lot more people their eyes are being opened to what's here. So it's like America, when America first started, everyone wanted to migrate because they saw the value, they saw the wealth, they saw the opportunities. But now, America has kind of exhausted their opportunities, I guess. So I think Africa is now coming into the forefront, and I want to be part of that. And aside from that, I feel like, technically my ancestors
I
are
love
from here.
that line. It's coming to the forefront, and I want to be part of that.
But yeah.
All right. Let's talk about what the networking event you are organizing for this September 30th of this September. What is it about, and what are participants looking forward to gain from attending this networking event?
Okay, so the Lagos Connect business networking event is actually a networking event that I'm hosting, and it's to bring business people, entrepreneurs, people in the tech space, investors, and people in the startup industry together so that they can actually network and build valuable connections and business relationships. So if you're like a business person and maybe you're a business to business person, but you don't have the network or the connection to market or work with other businesses, it will bring you together so you can meet other business people who you can either market to or do business with, and vice versa. If you're an entrepreneur, you're looking for investors, or you have a business idea. And I mean, there are lots of angel investors and people in the fintech industry and stuff like that who are willing to partner with other businesses, startups and stuff like that. And this is a space where people can come together and network and build those valuable relationships and actually work with each other. Again, the reason behind it is because there's a gap. There are people who they have the money, they want to invest in businesses and startups, but they don't have access to those startups because they don't know, okay, where are the people with the ideas that I can invest in? And then there are people with the ideas who don't have anybody to invest in or to pitch their ideas to. So the idea between this event is to bring those people together in the same room so that they can actually network with each other and hopefully build valuable relationships from that. And also, the event, like I said, it's being hosted on the 30th of September. It's being held at 355 Restaurant and Lounge in Landmark. So it's at the Landmark Mall, number 1 Water Corporation Drive. So for those that are interested, you can check out our links and stuff like that. You can sign up and register to be part of that networking event.
All right. You've been amazing today, sharing with us all of these quality information, and we truly appreciate you for this and for all that you do for Africa. We are very, very grateful for taking your time to be here in Africa and contribute your quota towards the development of this continent. But one thing I wanted to ask you about your accent. How are people accepting you, especially in the Nigerian streets?
Well, I think my accent kind of can be very challenging, especially when I'm speaking to people that mainly speak pidgin, because I can't speak pidgin. So there can be a kind of a language barrier, but I'm trying. I'm learning slowly.
That's amazing. All right. So finally, question I'm going to be asking you is, what which African food, which food you talked about? I remember you talked about your visit to Ghana, that the food and the atmosphere was something that looked like home to you. But what's the food that you can look at and say, oh, I really feel like I'm home. This Nigerian food, or this Ghanaian food, especially since you visited these two countries. Have you heard about Nigerian jollof rice and the Ghana jollof rice?
Yes, yes, yes. And I've tried both, and I think they both are equally amazing. So I can't pick a side.
You don't want to be,
I
that's
will not pick a
diplomatic.
side. But
You don't want to.
I will not pick a side. No.
Okay.
But the food is really nice. My favorite food so far is the oko soup, like seafood okra with amala and
Amazing.
banku. Like the banku, I have banku in Ghana, and I have like the amala when I'm here in Nigeria, and I really like it.
Amazing. Amazing. All right. Once again, we want to appreciate you for taking your time out to be with us here on today's conversation today. And what are the social platforms that people can follow you and get to know much that you do? Can you just share your social media handles so that people can get to follow?
Okay, yes. So my Facebook is Crystal Cummings, motivational speaker and youth mentor, and my IG is Crystal Gem Services.
Crystal Gem Services. So if you haven't followed, please do well to follow these platforms, and you will see some of the amazing things, the pictures and in videos, some of the amazing things that this young lady has been doing. So once again, from every one of us in Africa, on behalf of the entire young people in Africa, I want to say a very big thank you for all you do for Africa. And we trust that as you continue to reside in Africa and do business in Africa and be a part of contributing to the development of this continent, we trust God that all your heart desires will be met. All right.
Amen.
So
Thank you so much. Really appreciate
thank
it.
you so much for the friendship. Thank you so much for taking your time to honor our invitation. Enjoy the rest of
Okay,
your
you're
day.
welcome.
All right. Enjoy the rest
Okay,
of
you
your
take
day. All right. Bye bye. Until I come your way on another episode, I've been talking today. My guest today has been Crystal Cummings, an amazing young woman all the way from Trinidad and Tobago. And she was a guest at 2019 edition of the annual Pan-African Youth and Talent Summit that I co-host. And she's been amazing. She's shared her heart with us today. So until I come your way on another broadcast on today's conversation, go out there and do something amazing with your life, because you've been gifted with amazing talent. And until you begin to put those talents to use, you may just not stand out. So today you have everything to stand out. So enjoy the rest of your day, and goodbye from me to you.